What happened? What happened?
Weird chemicals.
Maybe something fell into it.
But maybe it's just some spices.
Yeah, not bad.
Maybe someone wants to purify it. Understood it literally.
Maybe they don't trust Mother Mantra.
Yeah.
They need more cheating.
Let's do it.
More so. Do you want to leave the kirtan?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, because tomorrow I'm leaving anyway.
Are you?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I'm going home. But you know, I had to leave on Monday, but my flight was cancelled because of the strike, so I stayed 3 days more.
Where do you live?
In Boston, in Sarajevo.
I would have thought you'd stay for the medals.
Yeah, I was planning, but I'm going to India.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Oh, who are you going with? Who are you going with?
I'm going from one group, with one group from Croatia,
Yeah.
and we're going to Mayapur.
Nice. Very good. How long are you going for?
1 month.
Very nice. Very good.
Yeah, not bad. It's nice. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I
Krishna.
love it. India is a wonderful place.
Home-like, right?
Huh?
Home.
Just not complicated.
Oh, that's amazing.
People love her here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you're a devotee, you love it.
Yeah, because I heard from some materialistic people before, like, oh, it's a bro.
Oh, they're so poor. The people are so poor. I think they're richer than you are.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, terrible. They have no food. Go to a temple. Go to any temple in India. Yes, that's stuff.
You have food like anywhere else.
There's materialistic minds that come.
Yeah. How is your life so far?
How is my what?
Life here in
Oh,
Radhadesh.
so good.
Yeah, amazing.
I lived here before for 4 years.
Mhm.
And I left because of life.
Mhm.
And it's just being outside and then going to the streets, sort of all these different people with different mindsets. Oh, I know, this is the best place. Anywhere around the world is
Yeah, it's very nice.
something.
Yeah,
When you go back to Bosnia, what will you be doing?
No, before India I will have some rest, I would meet some friends and I will prepare my trip and write and read.
Is there a temple near your house?
We have like preaching center, it's not like official, like we don't have ashram, but we have Sunday feasts and festivals.
Okay, Highlands?
Sometimes, yes. I distribute books, so I try,
So you help with that?
It's okay, I mean, of course, it's better when you have more association, but
Oh,
let's
yeah.
see what Krishna, maybe I will move also somewhere. I wanted to move to Slovenia initially, but then they just, there is no Mataji for now, they had, but no one permanent will live here for now, so
Yeah.
then
That's the problem.
Hey.
So it's the devotion.
Hibaya Jayam Gorachande Arati Koshobam Hibaya Jayam Gorachande Arati Koshobam
Chandradini Vadana Ujvala Radhadesh Vanamala Kore Jalamala Shiva Shukra Narada Preme Gada Gada Akati Vinoda Deke Gora Rasampada Hiba Jayo Gora Chande Rarati Koshoba Jana Vita Tavane Jagamanolova Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Gopinata Shri Radhe Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol Jayo Jagannath, Jayo Jagannath, Jayo Baladeva, Jayo Subhadra. Jayo Jagannath, Jayo Jagannath, Jayo Baladeva, Jayo Subhadra. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parika Anarya Acharya Ashtotra Sarvashri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki is confounder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parivra Yakacharya Ashtotara Satashri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kao Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinata Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Navadvip Dhama Ki Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki Radhadesh Dhama Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulasi Devi Ki Samveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki All glories to assemble devotees. All glories to assemble devotees. All glories to assemble devotees. Gaura Premanande Hari Bol. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. She's very good. No. Yeah. Please, you can play also. Yeah. You can sing. No, you can sing. You're leaving tomorrow. No, but I already sung. Prabhu, you can sing.
No, I don't.
Please, you have to sing.
Ja, jag säger det så visst.
No. Sing.
You must.
It's called Radhadesh Krishna. We all sit in a circle and everybody can speak. Yeah, you don't need to ignore.
You just sit and listen.
Yes. I just meant it's interactive.
You can read or just making a download?
Yeah, this is called.
Sure.
Flowers came too late today.
Yes.
Usually I have to them during the day.
I see.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
For all the people like us.
So the first two are maybe open and closed. Now you're right.
Thank you.
I forgot your name. Yes. I think you can also just read a very little bit, one little paragraph. You want to read?
Well, merci beaucoup.
Okay.
What happened to Dr. Ricky's always here, isn't it?
He's downstairs doing the transfer.
This is such a nice thing.
Yes, reading Krishna looks great. I like it.
You do this like when you're finished with Krishna book, you continue again?
Yeah, we just started again. So.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare.
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Raksha Mam. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Raksha Mam. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Pahi Mam. Krishna Krishna, Rama Raghav, Rama Raghav, Rama Raghav, Raksha Mam. Rama Raghav, Raksha Mam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Mam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Mam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada.
Very good.
Yeah. very first time.
Very good. Okay, sir.
From which page?
741, the second paragraph after this Krishna's Mother Devi.
Okay, as soon as Vasudeva saw Nanda Maharaj, Vasudeva jumped up and ran over to him and embraced him very affectionately. Vasudeva began to narrate his own past history, how he had been imprisoned by King Kansa, how his babies had been killed, how immediately after Krishna's birth he had carried Krishna to the place of Nanda Maharaj, and how Krishna and Balrama had been raised by the Nanda Maharaj and his queen Yashoda as their own children. Similarly, Lord Balrama and Krishna also embraced King Nanda and Mother Yashoda, and then they offered their respect unto their lotus feet by bowing down. Because of their feeling affection for Nanda and Yashoda, Lord Krishna and Balrama became choked up, and for a few seconds they could not speak. The most fortunate King Nanda and Mother Yashoda placed their son on their lap and began to embrace them to their full satisfaction. Because of separation from Krishna and Balrama, because of the separation from Krishna and Balrama, King Nanda and Yashoda had been merged in a great distress for a very long time. Now, after meeting them and embracing them, all their sufferings were mitigated. After this, Krishna's mother Devaki and Balrama's mother Rohini both embraced Mother Yashoda. They said, "Dear Queen, Yashoda Devi, you and Nanda Maharaj have been great friends to us, and when we remember you, we are immediately overwhelmed by the thought of your friendly activities. We are so indebted to you that even if you were to return your benediction by giving you the opulence of the King of Heaven, it would not be enough to repay you for your friendly behavior. We shall never forget your kindly behavior towards us. When Krishna and Balram were born, before they even saw their real father and mother, they were entrusted to your care, and you raised them as your own children, fostering them as birds take care of their offspring in the nest. You have nicely fed, nourished, and loved them, and have performed many auspicious religious ceremonies for their benediction. Actually,
Yes. Actually, they are not our sons. They belong to you, Nanda Maharaj, and you are the real father and mother of Krishna and Balaram. As long as they are under your care, they had not even a pinch of difficulty. Under your protection, they were completely out of the way of all kinds of fear. This most affectionate care which you have taken from them is completely befitting your elevated position. The most noble personalities do not discriminate between their own sons and the sons of others, and there cannot be any personalities more noble than Nanda Maharaj and you. As far as the gopis of Vrindavan were concerned, from the very beginning of their lives, they did not know anything beyond Krishna. Krishna and Balaram were their life and soul. The gopis were so attracted to Krishna that they could not tolerate not seeing him even momentarily when their eyelids blinked and impeded their vision. They condemned Balaram, the creator of the body, because he foolishly made eyelids which blink and check their seeing Krishna. Because they had been separated from Krishna for so many years, the gopis, having come along with Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, felt intense ecstasy upon seeing Krishna. No one can even imagine how eager the gopis were to see Krishna again. As soon as Krishna became visible to them, they took him inside their hearts, through their eyes, and embraced him to their full satisfaction. Even though they were embracing Krishna only mentally, they became so ecstatic and overwhelmed with joy that for the time being they completely forgot themselves. The ecstatic trance they achieved simply by mentally embracing Krishna is impossible to achieve even for great yogis constantly engaged in meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna could understand the gopis were wrapped in ecstasy by embracing him in their minds, and therefore, since he is present in everyone's heart, he reciprocated the embrace from within. Krishna was sitting with Mother Yashoda and his other mothers, Devaki and Rohini, but when the mothers engaged in talking, he took the opportunity and went to a secluded place to meet the gopis. As soon as he approached the gopis, the Lord smiled, and after embracing them and inquiring about their welfare, he began to encourage them, saying, "My dear friends, you know that Lord Balaram and I left Vrindavan just to please our relatives and family members. Thus we were long engaged in fighting with our enemies and were obliged to forget you, who were so much attracted to me in love and affection. I can understand that I have been ungrateful to you, but still I know that you are faithful to me. May I inquire if you have been thinking of us, although we have to leave you behind? My dear gopis, do you now dislike remembering me, considering me to have been ungrateful to you? Do you take my misbehavior with you very seriously?"
Oh, what's in that? Oh.
After all, you should know that it was not my intention to leave you. Our separation was ordained by Providence, who after all is the supreme controller and does as he desires. He causes the intermingling of different persons and again disperses them as he desires. Sometimes we see that a strong wind will mingle together with clouds, atomic particles of dust or broken pieces of cotton, and after the strong wind subsides, all the clouds, particles of dust and pieces of cotton are again separated, scattered in different places. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the creator of everything. The objects we see are different manifestations of his energy, and by his supreme will, we are sometimes united and sometimes separated. We can therefore conclude that ultimately we are absolutely dependent on his will. Fortunately, you have developed a loving affection for me, which is the only way to achieve the transcendental position of association with me. Any living entity who develops such unalloyed devotional affection for me certainly at the end goes back home, back to Godhead. In other words, unalloyed devotional service and affection for me are the cause of supreme liberation.
My dear Gopi friends, you may know from me that it is my energies only which are acting everywhere. Take for example an earthen pot. It is nothing but a combination of earth, water, fire, air and sky. It is always of the same physical composition, whether in its beginning, during its existence, or after its annihilation. When it is created, the earthen pot is made of earth, water, fire, air and sky. While it remains, it is the same in composition. And when it is broken and annihilated, its different ingredients are conserved in different parts of the material energy. Similarly, at the creation of this cosmic manifestation, during its maintenance and after its dissolution, everything is but a different manifestation of my energy. And because the energy is not separate from me, it is to be concluded that I am existing in everything. In the same way, the body of the living being is nothing but a composition of the five elements, and the living entity embodied in the immaterial condition is also part and parcel of me. The living entity is imprisoned in the material condition on account of his false conception of himself as the supreme enjoyer. This false ego of the living entity is the cause of his imprisonment in material existence. As the supreme absolute truth, I am transcendental to the living entity, as well as to his material embodiment. The two energies, material and spiritual, both act under my supreme control. My dear gopis, I request that instead of being afflicted, you try to accept everything with a philosophical attitude. Then you will understand that you are always with me, and that there is no cause of lamentation in our being separated from one another.
The important instruction by Lord Krishna to the gopis can be utilized by all devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness. The whole philosophy is considered on the basis of inconceivable simultaneous oneness and difference. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that He is present everywhere in His impersonal feature. Everything exists in Him, but still He is not personally present everywhere. The cosmic manifestation is nothing but a display of Krishna's energy, and because the energy is not different from the energetic, nothing is different from Krishna. When this absolute consciousness, Krishna consciousness, is absent, we are separated from Krishna. But fortunately, if this Krishna consciousness is present, then we are not separated from Krishna. The process of devotional service is the revival of Krishna consciousness, and if the devotee is fortunate enough to understand that the material energy is not separate from Krishna, then he can utilize the material energy and its products in the service of the Lord. But in the absence of Krishna consciousness, the forgetful living entity, although part and parcel of Krishna, falsely puts himself in the position of enjoyer of the material world, and being thus implicated in material entanglement, is forced by the material energy to continue his material existence. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Although a living entity is forced to act by the material energy, he falsely thinks that he is the all in all and the supreme enjoyer.
If the devotee knows perfectly that the Anshavigraha, or dairy form of Lord Krishna in the temple, is exactly the same No, I cannot speak it. Sorry. As Krishna himself, then his service to the temple deity becomes direct service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, the temple itself, the temple paraphernalia, and the food offered to the dairy are also not separate from Krishna. One has to follow the rules and regulations prescribed by the acharyas, and thus, under superior guidance, Krishna realization is fully possible, even in this material existence.
You want to read more?
No.
Thank you.
The gopis, having been instructed by Krishna in this philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference, remained always in Krishna consciousness and thus became liberated from all material contamination. The consciousness of the living entity who falsely presents himself as the enjoyer of the material world is called Jiva Kosha, which means imprisonment by the false ego. Not only the gopis, but anyone who follows these instructions of Krishna is immediately freed from the Jiva Kosha imprisonment. A person in full Krishna consciousness is always liberated from false egoism. He utilizes everything for Krishna's service and is not at any time separated from Krishna. The gopis therefore prayed to Krishna, "Dear Krishna, from your navel emanated the original lotus flower, which is the birth site of Brahma, the Creator. No one can estimate your glories or your opulence. which therefore remain always a mystery even to the highest thoughtful men, the masters of all yogic power. However, the conditioned soul, fallen in the dark well of this material existence, can very easily take shelter of your lotus feet. Thus, this deliverance is guaranteed.
Thank you. The gopis continued, Dear Krishna, we are always busy in our family affair. We therefore request that you remain within our heart as the rising sun. That will be your greatest benediction. The gopis are always liberated soul because they are fully in Krishna consciousness. The only pretended to be entangled in the household affair in Vrindavan. Because of their separation from Krishna, he might have asked them to return with him to his capital city Dwarka. But the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the gopis, were not interested in the idea of going with Krishna to Dwarka. They wanted to remain busy in Vrindavan and thus feel the presence of Krishna in every step of their lives. They immediately invited Krishna to come back to Vrindavan. The transcendental emotional existence of the gopis is the basic principle of Lord Chaitanya's teaching. The Rath Yatra festival observed by the Lord Chaitanya is the emotional process of taking Krishna back to Vrindavan. Srimati Radharani refuses to go with Krishna to Dwarka to enjoy his company in the atmosphere of royal opulences, for she wanted to enjoy his company in the original Vrindavan atmosphere. Lord Krishna, being profoundly attached to the gopis, never goes away from Vrindavan, and the gopis and the other residents of Vrindavan remain fully satisfied in Krishna consciousness. Chapter 83.
Draupadi meets the queens of Krishna. There were many visitors who came to see Krishna, and among them were the Pandavas, headed by King Yudhishthir. After talking with the gopis and bestowing upon them the greatest benediction, Lord Krishna welcomed King Yudhishthir and other relatives who had come to see him. He first of all inquired from them whether their situation was auspicious. Actually, there is no question of ill fortune for anyone who sees the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna. Yet, when Lord Krishna, as a matter of etiquette, inquired from King Yudhishthir about his welfare, the king became very happy by such a reception and addressed the Lord as, My dear Lord Krishna, great personalities and devotees in full Krishna consciousness always think of your lotus feet and remain fully satisfied by drinking the nectar of transcendental bliss. The nectar which they constantly drink sometimes comes out of their mouth, and it's sprinkled on the others as the narration of your transcendental activities. This nectar coming from the mouth of a devotee is so powerful that if one is fortunate enough to have the opportunity to drink it, he is immediately freed from the continuous journey of birth and death. Our material existence is caused by our forgetfulness of your personality. But fortunately, the darkness of forgetfulness is immediately dissipated if one is privileged to hear about your glories. Therefore, my dear Lord, where is the possibility of ill fortune for one who is constantly engaged in hearing your glorious activities?
So we're dribbling at the moment. We're dribbling Krishna's pastimes. It's dribbling, we're splashing all over each other. This says here. Since we are fully surrendered unto you and have no other shelter than your lotus feet, we are always confident in our good fortune. My dear Lord, you are the ocean of unlimited knowledge and transcendental bliss. The reactions of mental concoctions in the three phases of material life, wakefulness, sleep, and deep sleep, cannot exist in Krishna consciousness. All such reactions are invalidated by the presence of Krishna consciousness. You are the ultimate destination of all liberated persons, out of your independent will only. You have descended to this earth by the use of your own eternal potency, Yogamaya, and to re-establish the Vedic principles of life. You have appeared just like an ordinary human being. Since you are the Supreme Person, there cannot be any ill look for one who has fully surrendered unto you.
When Lord Krishna was busy meeting various kinds of visitors, and while they were engaged in offering prayers to the Lord, the female members of the Guru dynasty and the Yadu dynasty took the opportunity to meet with one another and engage in talk of Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. The first inquiry was made by Draupadi to the wives of Lord Krishna. She addressed them, "Are there Rukmini, Bhadra, Jambavati, Satya, Satyabhama, Kalindi, Saibhya, Mitravinda, Lakshmana, Rohini, and all other wives of Lord Krishna? Will you please let us know how Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, accepted you as his wives and married you in pursuance of the marriage ceremonies of ordinary human beings?" To this question, the chief of the queens, Rukmini Devi, replied, "My dear Draupadi, it was practically all settled fact that princes like Jarasandha wanted me to marry King Shishupal, and as usual, all the princes present during the marriage ceremony were prepared with their armor and weapons to fight with any rival who dared to stop the marriage. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead kidnapped me, the way a lion takes away a lamb from the flock. This was not, however, a very wondrous act for Lord Krishna, because anyone who claims to be a great hero or king within this world is subordinate to the lotus feet of the Lord. All kings touch their helmets to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. My dear Draupadi, it was my eternal desire that life after life I be engaged in the service of the Lord Krishna, who is the reservoir of all pleasure and beauty, and this is my only desire and ambition in life.
But this is only the story of Rukmani. What about the other wives?
They're going to
Listen and hear.
They're gonna. They each one describes.
All 1,608 are described.
One of them, they have a spokesperson for the 16,000.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Rukmini starts and the rest will-
Yeah.
That's
After this, Satyabhama began to speak. She said, "My dear Draupadi, my father was very much afflicted by the death of his brother Prasena, and he falsely accused Lord Krishna of killing his brother and stealing the Shamataka jewel, which had actually been taken by Jambavan. Lord Krishna, in order to establish his pure character, fought with Jambavan and rescued the Shamataka jewel, which he later delivered to my father. My father was very much ashamed and sorry for accusing Lord Krishna of his brother's death. After getting back the Shamataka jewel, he thought it wise to rectify his mistake. So, although he had promised others my hand in marriage, he submitted the jewel and me to the lotus feet of Krishna, and thus I was accepted as his maidservant and wife." After this, Jambavati replied to Draupadi's question. She said, "My dear Draupadi, when Lord Krishna attacked my father, Jambavan, the king of the Rikshas, my father did not know that Lord Krishna was his former master, Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Sita. Not knowing the identity of Lord Krishna, my father fought with him continuously for 27 days. After this period, when he became fatigued, he could understand that since no one but Lord Ramachandra could defeat him, his opponent, Lord Krishna, must be the same Lord Ramachandra. He thus came to his senses and immediately returned the Shamataka jewel. Furthermore, to satisfy the Lord, he presented me to him to become his wife. In this way, I was married to the Lord, and thus my desire to be a servitor of the Lord, servitor of Krishna, life after life was fulfilled."
After this, Kalindi said, "My dear Draupadi, I was engaged in great austerities and penances to get Lord Krishna as my husband. When he became aware to this fact, he very kindly came to me with his friend Arjuna and accepted me as his wife. Lord Krishna then took me away from the bank of the Yamuna, and since then I have been engaged in the house of Lord Krishna as a sweeper, and the Lord is treating me as his wife.
Hold on. Hang on. Who is this speaking and who's engaged in sweeping?
This is Kalindi,
Kalindi is a
river,
wife.
a holy river.
But
She's one of the wives of Krishna.
So she's been engaged in sweeping.
She's saying that. She's saying that. She's doing Mino's.
This is serious business.
She's not
I think the palace was so big and he has a lot of wives, so he gave it us.
He goes sweep.
Well, each wife had a palace.
Yeah, but so she was joking. Why is she?
Well, she's not joking. She's humble.
I don't know, because he expands and he is with each of them personally. They don't
Okay.
Because otherwise, the wives of Krishna also don't know each other.
Oh yeah, they know each other.
But they don't live. They don't live in one. They don't live in one place together.
Each has a palace.
But aren't they under Yoga Maya?
They're not talking to Draupadi.
Now they're talking to Draupadi.
Draupadi can explain this.
Yeah, now, but she's asking in general.
But they do know each other.
Yeah, they know each other.
Friendly behavior.
Yeah. Because Krishna's teaching them, treating them each equally, so they don't feel dissatisfied. Krishna goes during the day. Krishna's in the palace. He's in the assembly hall doing Kshatriya business, and then after the business is done, he goes home and he expands into 16,100 forms, and he's in each palace doing different things with each queen. So they don't have to feel dissatisfied that they're
fully satisfied.
They're fully satisfied.
Lucky girls.
Okay.
Okay.
But they're not lucky. They know for each other.
They're not lucky.
It's not lucky. It's bad luck.
What happened? Krishna's a husband.
You're just envious.
You're jealous.
No, because they know each other. How they know each other?
And they talk like
Because if he expands in infinite
They're
form.
lucky. They're lucky.
But you know, okay, we are under influence of Maya, but under Yoga Maya, you think like, what's Yoga Maya?
Yoga Maya.
Yeah.
It's having the association of Lord Krishna in a spiritual way. So it's having you have all the emotions and feelings except jealousy. Jealousy is the only emotion that they don't.
Okay. But
So they're not envious of one another. But there is a bit of rivalry that goes on. It's a bit of spiritual rivalry that goes on. But what they want is they want to be the best servant of Krishna. That's the rivalry.
okay, because I thought like under Yoga Maya that you're still under Maya, but in spiritual way. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought so.
Okay. After this, Mitravinda said, there's another one. No? My dear Draupadi, there was a great assembly of princes at my Swayamvara ceremony, the personal selection of a husband. Lord Krishna was also present in that meeting, and he accepted me as his maidservant by defeating all the princes there. He immediately took me away to Dwaraka exactly as a lion takes its prey from a pack of dogs. When I was thus taken away by Lord Krishna, my brothers wanted to fight him. Later they were defeated. Thus my desire to become the maidservant of Krishna life after life was fulfilled.
After this, Satya addressed Draupadi in this way. My dear Draupadi, my father arranged for an assembly for my
Okay.
and to test the strength and heroism of the prospective bridegrooms. He stipulated that they each fight with his 7 ferocious bulls, which had long, sharp horns. Many heroic prospects tried to defeat the bulls, but unfortunately they were all severely struck, and they returned to their homes as defeated invalids. When Lord Sri Krishna came and fought with the bulls, they were just like playthings for him. He captured the bulls and doped each one of them by the nostrils. Thus they came under his control, just as a goat's small kids come very easily under the control of children. My father was very much pleased and married me to Lord Krishna with great pomp, giving as my dowry many divisions of soldiers, horses, chariots, and elephants, along with hundreds of maidservants. Thus, Lord Krishna brought me to his capital city, Dvaraka. On the way back, he was assaulted by many princes, but Lord Krishna defeated all of them. And thus, I have the privilege of serving his lotus feet as a maidservant.
After this, Bhadra began to speak. She said, "My dear Draupadi, Lord Krishna is the son of my maternal uncle. Unfortunately, I became attracted to his lotus feet. When my father understood these feelings of mine, he personally arranged for my marriage, inviting Lord Krishna to marry me and giving him in dowry one akshauhini, or division of armed forces, along with many maidservants and other royal paraphernalia. I do not know whether I shall be able to have the shadow of Lord Krishna life after life, but still I pray to the Lord that wherever I may take my birth, I may not forget my relationship with his lotus feet."
Thank you. Then Lakshmana said, my dear queen, many times I have heard the great sage Narada glorifying the pastime of Lord Krishna. I became attracted to the lotus feet of Krishna when I heard Narada say that the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, was attracted to his lotus feet. Since then, I have always been thinking of him, and thus my attraction for him has increased. My dear queen, my father was very affectionate towards me. When he understood that I was attracted to Krishna, he devised a plan like that devised by your father. During the Swamvara, the prospective bridegrooms had to pierce the eyes of fish with their arrow. The difference between the competition in your Swamvara and mine was that in your the fish was hanging openly in the ceiling in a clear view, but in mine the fish was covered and could be seen only by its reflection in a pot of water. That was the special feature of my Swamvara. The news of this... Huh?
I thought Arjuna did the
That's why it's a Draupadi.
So she's saying you had a similar thing to me, but mine was more.
Okay.
So you're...
After this, Jambavati replied to Draupadi's question. She said, "My dear Draupadi, when Lord Krishna attacked my father Jamvan, the king of the Rikshas, my father did not know that Lord Krishna was his former master, Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Sita. Not knowing the identity of Lord Krishna, my father fought with him continuously for 27 days.
I think we're in a different place.
You can finish it, but we're actually one page further.
Oh, we're next
We're on page 751.
Yeah. What did you do?
I know the page split one.
So it's from the news of this device.
Okay. The news of this device spread all over the world, and when the princess heard of it, they arrived at my father's capital city from all directions, fully equipped with armor and guided by their military instructors. Each of them desired to win me as his wife, and one after another they raised the bow and arrow left for the piercing the fish. Many could not even join the bowstring to the two ends of the bow, and without attempting to pierce the fish, they simply left the bow as it was and went away. Some with great difficulty drew the string from one end to the other, but being unable to tie the other end, they were suddenly knocked down by a spring-like bow. My dear Queen, you will be surprised to know that at my Svayamvara meeting, there were many famous kings and heroes present. Heroes like Jarasandha, Ambashta, Shishupal, Bhimasena, Duryodhana, and Karna were, of course, able to string the bow, but they could not pierce the fish because it was covered, and they could not trace it out from the reflection. The celebrated hero of the Pandavas, Arjuna, was able to see the reflection of the fish on the water, but although with great care he traced out the location of the fish and shot an arrow, he did not pierce the fish in the right spot. But his arrow at least touched the fish, and so he proved himself better than all the other princes.
All the princes who tried to pierce the target were disappointed, being baffled in their attempt, and some candidates even left the palace without making an attempt. But when at last Lord Krishna took up the bow, he was able to tie the bowstring very easily, just as a child plays with a toy. He placed the arrow and looked only once at the reflection of the fish in the water. He shot the arrow, and the pierced fish immediately fell down. This victory, O Lord Krishna, was accomplished at noon, during the moment called Abhijit, which is astronomically calculated as auspicious. At the time of the vibration of Jai Jai, we heard all over the world, and from the sky came the sound of drums beaten by the denizens of heaven. Great demigods were overwhelmed with joy and showered flowers on the earth.
So at that time I entered the arena of the competition, and the ankle bells on my legs sounded very melodious as I walked. I was nicely dressed with silken garments, flowers, and decorated my hair. And because of Lord Krishna's victory, I was in an ecstatic joy and smiling very pleasingly. I carried in my hands a golden necklace with jewels which glittering at intervals. My curling hair encircled my face, which shone with a bright luster due to the reflection of my various earrings. My eyes blinking, I first observed all the princes present, and when I reached my lord, I very slowly placed the golden necklace on his neck. And I have already informed you, from the very beginning my mind was attracted by Lord Krishna, and thus I considered the garlanding of my Lord my great victory. And as soon as I placed my garland on the neck of the Lord, there sounded immediately the combined vibrations of the mridangas. A little different. Pataha and Anaka drums, conch shells, kettle drums, and other instruments, causing a tumultuous sound. And while the music played, expert male and female dancers began to dance, and singers began to sing sweetly. And a lot of bird noises.
My dear Draupadi, when I accepted Lord Krishna as my worshipable husband, and he accepted me as his maidservant, there was a tumultuous roaring among the disappointed princes.
Oh.
All of them were very agitated because of their lusty desires, but without caring for them, my husband, in his form as the four-handed Narayan, immediately took me on his chariot, which was drawn by 4 excellent horses. Expecting opposition from the princes, he armoured himself and took up his bow named Shanga, and then our celebrated driver Daruka drove the beautiful chariot without a moment's delay toward the city of Dwarka. Thus, in the presence of all the princes, I was carried away very quickly, exactly as a deer is carried away from the flock by a lion. Some of the princes, however, wanted to check our progress, Unless equipped with proper weapons, they opposed us, just as dogs try to oppose the progressive march of a lion. At that time, due to the arrows released by the Shanga bow of Lord Krishna, some of the princes lost their hands, some lost their legs, some of them lost their legs, some lost their heads and their lives, and others fled from the battlefield.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead then entered the most celebrated city of the universe, Dvaraka, and as he entered the city, he appeared like the shining sun. The whole city of Dvaraka was profusely decorated on that occasion. There were so many flags and festoons and gates all over Dvaraka that the sunshine could not even enter the city. I have already told you that my father was very affectionate to me, so when he saw that my desire had been fulfilled by my getting Lord Krishna as my husband, in great happiness he began to distribute to friends and relatives various kinds of gifts, such as valuable garments, ornaments, bedsteads, and sitting carpets. Lord Krishna is always self-sufficient, yet my father, out of his own accord, offered my husband a dowry consisting of riches, soldiers, elephants, chariots, horses, and many rare and valuable weapons. He presented all these to the Lord with great enthusiasm. My dear Queen, at that time I could guess that in my previous life I must have performed some wonderfully pious activity, and as a result I can in this life be one of the maidservants in the house of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Wait, are they queens or maidservants?
They consider themselves maidservants.
Oh, they're so humble.
They're humble.
Oh, like, I'm just a sweeper.
Yeah.
I clean the toilets.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, they're actually humble. They're not pretending to be.
That's nice.
Very good.
Joy.
Joy.
Joy. Pass her the microphone so she can end this wonderful experience.
Should I do it? Or?
Oh, you have a microphone?
Okay. So thank you all for coming. No, thank you all for coming. So it's nice to have your association. Hearing Krishna Katha is more powerful when it's done in the association of devotees. So we're grateful to be here tonight. And thank you to Srila Prabhupada for writing this wonderful book, which is a window to the spiritual world. So, and there's some Mahaprashanam, I guess. Right. Hare Krishna.
Isn't it so awe and reverence? Dwarka. So, oh,
No, but it
go.
is boring.
It's not boring.
It's just too perfect.
I know, yeah. It's not Vrindavan.
You know, this is like VIP on the concert, but I guess VIP.
It's not Vrindavan. It's not.
And Vrindavan is tag life, you know. Kijai.
Vrindavan is so. Vrindavan is so.
Bye.
Cheese.
Just free, make a drama from the ancients. Just me, so powerful to embrace it. He's a singer. This was just one song for me, and that's it.
It's a nice.
I think it's wonderful, but you should take some.
I took already, thank you. Thank you, I took. No.
I'll try. Thank you for the nice talk.
You're welcome.
Jonathan, very much.
No, this was
could see where it's going. And so I can put it here then.